Okay, so once you have your design, get a piece of the newsprint paper out of the drawing drawer. Get your soft cut material for your printing plate. You're gonna set it in the middle of your paper, grab your pencil. You're gonna draw, trace around the edge. Okay, so you have your frame of reference. You need to make sure that your design fits inside that. So use your thumbnail that you decided on. You're gonna make it bigger and fill the space, okay? So once you draw your drawing, it'll look like this. Well, not like mine, but so it'll look something like this. So then once you've done that, the next step is you're going to get there's an ebony pencil that I have in a green container on the counter. So you're gonna get your ebony and you're going to take your ebony and you're gonna trace out, pushing down a little harder. You can see that it's a lot darker. It's a softer lead. You're gonna trace out all of your lines. Okay, so you've gone over all of your lines, made them a lot heavier. What you're going to do to transfer your design is you're going to take your soft cut, you're going to set it on top and gently flip it over. All right, and then you're gonna hold it firmly. Hold it firmly with your hand. Just take 2 fingers, push down and rub over top of your drawing. When you used your ebony pencil, I recommend that you do keep it dull. So you can check it, just hold on tight with your hand, and you should see it starting to transfer. Now the nice thing about this is how we're doing this transfer, your design will be the same direction that you're creating your art. So it's transferring backward at the moment, but then when you print it, it will turn out forward. So just again, hold on tightly your paper, make sure that all your lines have transferred. If there's a stubborn line, just kind of rub that. Make sure that you got it all. And then take it off. So there is your transfer. Okay, so then what you're gonna do after that is you're gonna set this aside. Actually, you're gonna take your paper and you're gonna color code it. So you're gonna get your markers and the design. So remember that it's 3 colors that we're after. White is a bonus, so that's a 4th color. So you need 3 colors. If you're using white, you need 3 more colors. So get your markers and get it colored in on your paper. So this is your paper, okay? Color on your paper. So here I'm going to use brown, green, and black. I am using just a Sharpie because it's easiest. So go in and determine where your colors are. Okay, so I've got it colored exactly how I want it. And again, I did that on the paper so I could figure out my colors. I could leave spaces. If I have accents I want to cut out and leave white. So everything that was the paper color is what I'm going to leave alone. I'm not going to put color there. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take my soft cut. This is my printing plate. And I'm going to use the colors that I just used here on here to kind of indicate so I know exactly where to cut for my 3 colors. So I will get that started and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and I have, and you can see it's opposite, but I've gone through and I've put my 3 colors and I'll know exactly where to cut. So the first step you're going to do is you need to start carving away everything that you want to remain white. Okay, so to get started, what we're gonna do to carve, we have a bench hook I am using a metal bench hook. There are wooden bench hooks, so you can use either one. They fit on the table the same way. They're at an angle for a reason. They just slide straight on the edge. I don't know if you can see that very well, but they fit right on the edge of your table. That one does that way, and this one does this way, okay? So you can see it's even with the table. It has a brace here, so when you carve, you're carving toward this end on either one, just to save your fingers. You don't want to injure your fingers, so I'll stick with the wooden one for the moment. What we're going to use is we're going to use a carving tool. We store all of these in the back. It's got a great little storage area. We have different blades for different things. So we have a V-shape. V-shape gets nice little thin areas. You've got this. I've found that there's not been a terrible amount of things that I need to use this tiny one for. I've also found that people who use that tend to feel like they need to dig, so I'll show you in a minute not to dig. This is a kind of a U-shape, a skinnier U-shape, and then there's a wider U-shape. And the wider U-shape is better. This is great if you're cutting out large areas, if you have a big background to cut out or whatever. So I'm actually going to start with my little smaller U-shape, and I'm gonna just put all of those back in the back end and put the lid back on, keep them nice and safe. How you do this is you do a little lefty-loosey, and as you can see, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So you have kind of a ball bearing, and you have two U-shapes. Well, only that one does not have two U-shapes. Nope, it was missing one. All right, we'll try that one more time. Okay, so when you loosen it up, so what you want to look at, there is a ball bearing, and there are, whoops, hold on, I've got it turned way too far back. If you look closely, there is a thicker curve here, and there's a thinner curve there. You see that dark space, that negative space in between the ball bearing and that? It's not really a ball bearing, but it just looks like one. What you're going to do, so your knife has a beveled edge, that's the edge you're cutting with, and the back end has this nice rounded curved area. That's the part that goes in. If you hold it in the middle, you will be safe. So you're gonna loosen it up enough so that you start to see that, and if you try to put it in and it's not going in, don't force it, just loosen it up some more. Lefty-loosey, turn it to the left, and then it slides right in, and mine's, you want to make sure that it's seated. Mine's not seated, so I'm going to just loosen it just a little bit more. Some of mine are being a little challenging. There it goes. Okay, so it's seated in all the way. It should be seated in clear to the bottom of this curve. So then how I handle that is I just hang on tight to that, and then I tighten it back up. Righty-tighty. Okay, you are ready to go. Well, mine jumped out. If yours jumps out like mine did, this is why I try to hold them. Sometimes they're a little temperamental. Try to go back out and readjust. And this is, ooh. All right, try it one more time. There, that's better. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, so there you go. So how you're going to do this is you're going to start in the clear area, the area that you want white. Make sure your hand is always behind. Let me zoom out so you can see everything. So this is my area. So this is here to catch your knife, so you're not gonna stab somebody. Keep your hand behind. You don't wanna cut downward, you wanna just kinda cut across. Soft cuts cut very easily. And actually, I think I want the wider one. I'm gonna go into a smaller area here. Let me show you how to carve out some of these really small, tight areas. So you could use the V, or I have, again, the tighter U shape. So you can go in, and then I don't cut it in all the way. I don't cut it clear out. I just let it hang, okay? So then I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna cut over. I might cut in here and down, and then you're gonna rotate. Don't be afraid to rotate your cutting soft cut. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back against it. You can pick those out. You don't have to cut super deep. All right, so again, if you're not sure, just look how you're going there. And if you need to fix anything, you can do that. So again, you're only cutting out the areas that you want to stay white. So I usually do an outline and then I go back in and clean out the inside. And I'm not digging. The tendency that a lot of people have is they just want to dig. They want to stab it. That's not the right way. If you're cutting it clear through, you need to just level it out a little bit. So mine's pretty level when I cut. You don't need to push super hard. It's nice and easy. This soft cut is wonderful stuff.